Not alone, not alone, not on, not alone till everyone is gone, gone, gone. Let them be gone, let them rot to dust and be alone.
Please forgive the background sounds of the vacuum. I'm here to just do some modeling, but I had a buddy write me and he said, I don't know what this thing does, but I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. And I was like, damn dog. Well, look, that's a weird way to work. Is that how I'm making people work right now? I need to be more clear on the sales page. I'm sorry, guys. So look, let's assume that you already have it installed. So, first thing you need to do is hypersolve the logo. So you click on Insolve and you're in object mode, right? If you click it, you're going to jump in edit mode and you're going to be solving the cube. And that basically is boring and not thought out because we're not solving cubes anymore. We're solving meshes. But in object mode, we could press D and it'll bring up the files window. And we want to go under demo files and open the Inflow logo. So from here, we'll click on Insolve and then click on the mesh to jump into edit mode, and you'll be acquainted with the bandoliers of the tool, right? So if you need your bandolier to be bigger, you can grab it by the header and press S to make it bigger, and then move your mouse, right? I want to be able to stack them and have them in different configurations, build them like Tetris blocks, but it's only because I'm a weirdo. I think if we have them changing to look like Tetris blocks, it will definitely resonate with a part of me that likes Tetris. So, So when it comes to getting started, this is determining your left mouse click operation. So you can see that every time I change it, it's changing basically the main operation that's being performed. That is what the tool is all about. If we shift click it, we see that we're changing it for the secondary operation. And this is, part of the beauty of it. Really, it's nothing. We're just kind of getting started here. But control clicking will assign it to control. So we're just assigning control to be things like sometimes you just want control to be select. So now you can just bypass having one of these crazy tools in here and just basically jump to select. But who would do that, right? So select is actually going to be collapse. So we're just going to control click. The tooltips is basically based off of Blender. So otherwise I would have it show off nicely to the side, be beautiful and all that. But some things just aren't in the cards based on other choices that are not in the cards. But continuing on, now that we have this configured, we're basically using offset, slide, collapse, and dissolve. So that means that if I were to select this entire mesh, I can just click and drag, and I'm performing the offset maneuver. And then if we wanted to, we can click on join, and we jump over to join, and now we're able to perform a join operation. Because we are starting with in suite up as well, we can basically click on the loop cut tool, sorry, being weird here, and now that we have it, we have a loop cut, and I'm just going to jump back to offset, and we're just going to click and drag, and we're just performing an offset because we're in the offset operation and we had an edge selected. So we're going to click on loop cut, add a loop cut here, add a loop cut here. And the thing about this particular exercise is that the mesh isn't good, meaning if I go and press Alt V in object mode and go to face orientation, we see that the normals are flipped. And the tool is supposed to be tested on a flip normal mesh to make sure that flip normals work first and foremost, because if they don't work, it visually is off and it's just terrible. So we're just trying to make sure we're covering all the bases. So part of the test is working on a mesh with flip normals and then having the dexterity to select everything and press shift N to flip to normals and go into object mode and activate subdivision with control 3, press alt V and turn off face orientation. And if we press alt V and turn on wireframe, I basically have what I call solved the logo. So I solved the logo and won the game. And let's start over and try it again, but this time without me talking a bunch. So we'll just start over, load the logo, bring in that. Ooh, and that's what happens when you don't change operations just right. So I'm kind of getting rusty at hyper solving the logo, but I'm like literally the hyper solving master of the logo. No one can beat me. I'm like Shin Akuma. All right, these aren't challenges. I'm just letting y'all know how it is. Like, now that I've said that, it's going to be problematic. You can't be saying such braggadocious things. But just to remind you, we're just going to pop open the logo. We're going to get in here and just pop open an H timer and just solve this thing and set an actual time for someone to try to compete with. Because if you're trying to mess with me, you gotta have a time to beat, right? Because a man can't just be running around calling himself Shinakuma, right? Like, these are very dangerous words. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of SVC versus Capcom Chaos. Probably will play afterwards, and I've solved this thing in like 16 seconds, basically. I mean, I didn't activate the wireframe, and I could have. Just an old little knuckle popper. Just the old knuckle popper voice. Like, sorry now, gotta start talking with the WWE voice. No, I'm playing. But I did want to get like that with the tool, but I wasn't sure if people would actually understand me right. So instead, I have to be a little more subdued, because I don't want people to think that I'm like unmedicated. Look, I'm unmedicated my entire life. Like, I'm afraid of medication. All right. If they were like putting me on Prozac, I would be scared. Like, who knows what it's doing to me? It'll change my chemicals, might mess with my idea core. I need my idea core, and I need it very bad. Like, I've realized that, hey, AI might be a son of a bitch, but I might stand a chance against it. And it's all in using it. You gotta use it. You gotta just accept it. You gotta accept all the implications that everything you do is going to be absorbed by it. So it's like, what do you offer to the world? What do you offer to the world when AI is just going to absorb you, right? So, and we're just doing some kind of warm-up rounds. Just kind of, these are knuckle poppers right here. And the thing is that we're doing this with Insolve. And we could be doing it with Inflow, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not even going to jump into it, but we are going to set a world record time so that way people respect me on the streets, right? Like, when people see me walk by with broken, withered hands, I want them to say, ah, yes, that's the Insolve Lord. All right, just playing, but let us open this up and have some fun. So, and it's key to have a big bevel. If you hack it and you give it a little bevel, these are like score disqualifications, but the scoring system is yet to be fully thought out. But and just like that, I mean, I kind of cheated there. I'm like a little bit of a cheater. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm a cheater, guys. So we got to make the game mode gamier. Like, Hops has purpose, and I always say that. I'm like, Hops has purpose, and that is to basically be the catalyst of all the ideas. Like, it's just important that there's a place to have everything originate at, and there's just so many systems in hard ops that there's no way that it would ever be without value to me. Like, it is of immense value to me. It's where everything of value has went, because I see that the tool can do so much more, and it's just the greatest thing ever. So here we set a 23 second because I'm talking way too much, right? I gotta get it together. Also, I haven't had any candy today, but it's only because I haven't had lunch yet. It's like 11 o'clock. So, because of yesterday, I was talking about eating candy at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I know that that's like a really bad habit. I gotta not eat candy so early. So let's press Q, H timer, click on this, bam. Ooh. I got hit with a technical. Technical meaning I tried to jump into Insolve without a selection, and they like kicked me right back out, because why on earth would they try to let me go in? And the thing is that with Inflow, we could set a better time immediately, like just out of control. And okay, gotta, I'd start popping my hands all crazy and get weird with it. But if I do that, I might accidentally hurt my hands legitimately, which sometimes can happen. Like, sometimes I'll be funny over here doing stuff for a tutorial, and I will like hurt myself being a little dummy. So I don't want to do that. It does hurt. Let's talk about the hypothetical of using Inflow. All right, so we get out of tour mode, right? Because you're with me. You're with MX, and I got your back. So we're out of tour mode because we don't need tour mode. We're going to make a new preset, and that's what it means to get out of tour mode. Tour mode means you can create a new preset. If you're in tour mode, it's basically designed to be the hypothetical viewer mode that we're working on. So in here, we are going to just see what we like, because we whooped this thing using Insolve, right? So we want to take the functions of Insolve. In the greater add-on universe, everybody's using everyone's tool. Everyone's using every tool except my tool. All right. So in this universe, my tool is the greatest tool and everybody's using it. All right. So you're yoinking functions out of Insolve, but of course I'm expecting users to be grabbing their own. So the greatest thing about Inflow is that I copied this function out of the info window, and then I pasted it here. And then I was able to go in and edit the operator arguments because there's this offset, and I don't want the offset. The offset would be cooked in. It would turn it into like an operator. It would just, bam, I would just do it, right? And I don't want to do that. That's also cheating. I mean, I'm not trying to make a hard logo solver. I mean, because I need to solve like everything. Like it's just, we're warming up right now. And I already know I'm talking too much, but we want to turn off offset. And then the fact that there's a little argument window, I take so much pride in this. Like the moment it was introduced as a concept, I was like, this is beautiful. Don't let that go anywhere. Don't let that go anywhere. I'm not trying to take credit for things, but my credit is, please don't let that go anywhere. That thing's beautiful. That is beautiful. You have shown me a thing of great beauty. Thank you, sir. Thank you for showing me that. All right, so now that we have that, that means that we have the ability to, whenever we start, we can actually choose what we want to do. And right now we're attached to everything. We want to attach it just to edge, and we just want to do it on nothing, right? So now we do it to just one edge. So we want to do it to more than one edge. So instead of having our selection overridden by what we click, which is what's happening, you know, I'm able to do it there, I'm able to do it there, and that can come in handy, right? Like you may want to do that. That might be a more specialized choice. What we want to do is actually select everything and then pretend as if we accept all of that and we're just adding to it. So, you know, something like that. So now we're adding to it. And then afterwards, we want to choose what state we want to be dropped off in, because we're being dropped off in whatever state. We want to be dropped off in edge state. I take a lot of pride in our drop off state. I just haven't talked about it yet because I just haven't had time. But now that we're being dropped off in edge, it just is more beautiful to me. I'm like really pedantic about where I get dropped off. Like, you know, drop me off in face if you got it. Like, look, let's try it out. Let's try it again. Let's just see how it feels. Probably feels like nothing, but it at least gives us a hollow here. And if we want a hollow filling, whenever we finish the operation, we have that now, and we have this little holographic. That's what I call it. I call it the hollow. It's because the concept is still just feels like something else until it feels like nothing else. So let's jump back over to Insolve again. We want to take Connect. You know, I love Connect. There's a whole bunch of options related to it where we can choose the snap mode. And that's related to this true, false, 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 you know. So we're just going to grab that, and we are going to point that here, and we are going to attach that to vertice. So now, if we undo this, and we activate Inflow, we're starting our offset, we're performing our connect, and it's just that. We've created what we needed. But it's like, but what else is needed, right? We need a little bit more. I love Blender's loop cut, and that's why there's a button for it. It's so stupid, and everybody who points it out is stupid. I'm just like, yeah, I know, it's stupid. It's stupid until you're like, well, sometimes it's a little easier than pressing Control R. All right, that's all I'm saying. So basically being able to drop loop cut, beautiful. We're going to grab this long command, and we're going to put this in here. And we actually have support for these super long commands, but we just want to edit the operator arguments. And there's like some transform stuff. I mean, look, I'm not a Blender master, okay? I'm just a guy using Blender, a Blender fan, and that's kind of the approach that I have when it comes to tools. So now that we have loop cut, we're going to map this to like right click, because right click I can just when I'm in Inflow, I'm just like let's try that again. Edit, right click and nothing. So now, bam, and it's just easy. In fact, right now it's click and hold. So if we let go, we're out. We're in, loop cutting, we're out. We're in, loop cutting, we're out. And the reason we're using Blender's loop cut is just because it's just stylish for doing it with the logo. I'm trying to keep this concise. I'm so sorry for over talking. All right. I know. This is why you hate my videos, bro. But look, continuing on, we're going to solve this now, right? We're just going to grab this and bada bing. And, you know, that little gizmo away. We call that technical. And also we want to be maybe dropped off with a vert mode exposed, and also we can up the highlight area if we want. Like the highlight area is completely within our control, so if we want to get like real technical and make this work beautifully, we can. So let us continue. We're just going to, ooh, see, that's what happens when you misclick. So sometimes you might want such a behavior like offsetting to be on control, just because it'll feel more natural. You have your general clicking and it just being weird, you know, and then you're not messing anything up. But me, I'm kind of hyper, and you know, I'm more beating myself up because I misclick. All right, I'm not even in the state of, and you're probably like, yo, why even solve it this fast? Like, well, I mean, this is just a warm up, right? Like, I mean, how often are you planning? how many logos are you planning to solve? Probably not as many as me. In fact, we're trying to offset this, and we see this giving us a little bit of business, and also dropping us off an edge is possibly stupid. So let's try that again, and now we're able to perform the offset on edges. So having it drop us off in face, we're just being silly here, all right? And now we have the ability to, we could right click and have it add a loop, or we could have control click and it will perform like flip normals or something, right? So let's just shift in. And here we are looking at with the normals being consistent on the outside, and we need to assign this to something like control right click just to be weird. And let's make sure we also have it assigned to null, so that way it's just boom, boom. I mean, we need a notification system intimately connected to this. I was going to have hard ops just be the backup, but, and the thing about presets is like we've destroyed this file, right? I mean, really, we didn't destroy it. We could actually get in here and use a little bit of clean mesh, and clean mesh better restore it. All right, so now we're just kind of working in wireframe mode with opaque view. So let's just have fun here. We're using control, and these are our own controls that we're making. So if you do not like them, make better controls. I mean, but it is on a modifier key system, so that is the thing. That's the hook. But for now, I mean, obviously there's other modules that are planned. I keep trying to express that in our helper. You can see that, you know, right now we have only 3 buttons. You know, probably by the end of this, I would expect this to be like 12, but that's me just being really idealistic. Really, we could end it at 3, we could end it at 12, we could end it at 7, we could end it at 45. Doesn't matter. I need what I need. I need it. I personally need it, and that's why I keep trying. That's my pitch. Hard ops, I needed what I needed, and you know, it's there. Obviously, we need to update our presentation for the new generation and to deal with people's attention span levels, but for the most part, I get in with hard ops, and it's beautiful. And from here, we are just going to perform a subdivision, and we're just goofing off here, right? So we're just going to call this kicker, you know, a little kicker, all right? This is our little kicker config, and we could jump it over into tour mode so things look good again. And then we could also color code it, right? Because I'm obsessed with like color, not like in a racist way, but in a just a tool being fun. So we can actually make our stuff like, I don't know, I always lean towards pink just because it's fun. And so let's get rid of subdivision and let us clean the mesh. And from here, we're just setting ourselves up here. And also, this video isn't to make you faster than me, all right? So if you start sending me better times, like, look, I'm gonna stop talking to you. Just kidding, of course. We're just having fun here. But there we are, cleaning up the logo. So we are just bada bing, bada boom. So let's press Q. We'll go ahead and clean the mesh, and let's pretend like we also have a configuration where we have the timer. So we like the hops timer, right? But we're not trying to deselect and select it out of this. Let's press escape, and where's that little boy at? It's not even here. It's right here though. So let's control C out of this menu, and I might be in Blender development mode. It doesn't matter, but you're able to control C, control V, and if it just works, then you've been blessed by God and it works. If not, then you must take that up with your maker. But now we have hops timer, and so if we jump into this, we have the ability to perform a, well, we set to control left click, which brings up the dialog window. What we want to do is actually make it where that doesn't happen. So perhaps control won't work, or we'll need to have some sort of override put in the timer system. But the timer system is just an experiment, so really it means nothing right now. This timer is just a temporary thing. It's just I needed a timer to show me how a timer would be. They were like, yeah, your timer's going to suck. I'm like, well, show me the worst timer ever, so I can explain, hey, my game is over because we got the worst timer ever. And that's the point of the timer. The timer is to really emphasize, like, yeah, all right, I see what's going on. When I select, the game begins, all right? And then when we go in edit mode, we're still inside the tool, all right? So I'm just laying out the technicals here. So, boom. And with your own configuration, it is key to remember what you've done. I create so many configurations that maybe one day I'll become a man who just loses his identity, right? Like I'll just be in a configuration, you know, and I just had a 14-second right there. So, you know, that's like me doing a level 3 super as Shin Akuma. You know, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me, all right? My hands aren't even warmed up. I was about to play Metal Gear. And then you wrote saying that you're going to get the tool and not even know what to use it for. I'm like, the heck, man? Is my pitch so terrible? This is the worst pitch ever. I used to not be this bad. All right. It's a form of trash talking. I'm sorry. The crowd is probably thinking I'm just being a freaking jerk. Okay. That time I messed up. So I'm going to need to end that timer. And let's try it again. And we were already talking about making the timer more resistant to telling it to stop, or making like a button or a dot or something that tells it to stop, or I don't know, mapping it to something I could use with my foot pedal. I don't know. But basically the timer needs to be more capable of being gamified. So we're just BSing here. We're just talking. All right, so the game begins. Oh, and I messed it up twice. So the timer, maybe the timer isn't best to be mapped where it is. All right, we'll try this one more time. All right. See, now I'm back to work because you got me in here solving this damn logo and setting world records. I mean, now it's 13 seconds. It's like, can I get that to a sub 10 second? Because look, I don't want someone in the comments saying, yeah, bro, I solved it with quad remesher in like 12 seconds with a Threadripper. First of all, don't talk to me about Threadrippers anymore. No more Threadrippers. All right, now I'm playing. But I am having a bunch of computer nonsense still. It's like a nightmare, hell on earth. It's like, man, I could be getting to work so good if my computer just stops giving me the business. So I'll stop BSing, back to work. Oh, and you see, that would have been a 10-second, but my hand slipped. That's what my little brother would say. He would start throwing a bunch of video game excuses, and that was the goal, was to make something that people would be able to have fun with. Like, when I play with Insolve, I'm playing with people that are using Cinema 4D, like, because they're Cinema 4D users. They're my buddies. Like, they're just regular people. Not everybody uses Blender in the world, you know. So, I mean, everybody has kind of bent the knee, but that, you know, that's a story for another day. So let us select. And that would have been it, except now I have to bisect it underneath, and we specifically put the origin up top. And when I say we, I mean me and all the people inside of my mind, because no one agreed with any of this. They were like, what do you mean you want a bunch of meshes? I'm like, listen, we got to be able to load a bunch of meshes, man. Load a bunch of meshes, and it needs to be dynamic, and I need to add a bunch of meshes. In the future, there's going to be so many meshes, and maybe it'll be the mesh tool, the tool of meshes. But I'm just kidding, but I do believe that the meshes are important to educating people. So continuing on. Hey, you don't get this tool because I'm normal, but you do get this tool because I'm the fastest in the world, alright? Now, if you think you're going to come at me and challenge me, boy, I will get up off my couch. I will get up out my bed. I will get up from playing with Apple. You know, because I do love my kitty, but don't challenge me, all right? That's all I'm saying, dude. You picked up the tool. I would have sent you a free copy if you had just been like, yeah, I won't challenge you, you know. I'm not trying to challenge you. You don't be challenging me, man, because, all right. Anyways, this is just playful talk between friends because it's funny. All right, so I should also make it where whenever you alt-click, it starts the timer, jumps you into edit mode. So it's just like boom, boom. And we pull this and we do that. It's like a bop it. It like literally is like blend it, but bop it. I see it now. You know, if people start calling it that, it'll torment me. And I literally beat that boy up. Like, that thing's terrible. I'm sorry I did that to the mesh. I actually have to give it an apology for that. Like, dark moment, you know, in mesh history. You know, they caught me beating up a mesh at a tournament. Never mind. I'll start making jokes that show how much I follow the internet community en masse. But we're going to do this again. We're trying to get a sub 10 seconds, so that way you just know to never challenge me, okay? That's all I'm trying to do. Ooh, I'm doing terrible. All right, look. No, I get this together. I'm going to get this together. Because I already see how it's going to go. I already see that, you know, people are going to get the wrong idea. They're going to be like, no, I got a sub 10 seconds. It's like, who the hell are you? They're going to be like, my name's Rajib. I'm just from so-and-so. It's like, who are you? You know, I already noticed what's going to happen. That's why I didn't do these videos publicly. Anyways, we're just having fun here. So I'm just, right now, I'm just like grinding my fingers in the air because I got to get my hands warmed up. My hands are being, this is why I hate all the hotkeys. I mean, I love hotkeys, but I literally press the hotkey that's incorrect more often than I press the one that's correct because my fingers are like sausages. I'm like Juggernaut, except without that crystal. I'm just like obese. All right, so always follow your dreams. Boy, don't make me play with the hotspot. Like, see, I feel like the hotspot's a little off. Like, ooh, which hand is it? Is it my left or my right one that isn't doing it? One of my hands is betraying me. Which hand has betrayed me? I just start slapping myself with my hands. Y'all just start hearing slapping sounds on camera. I wouldn't do that. I love myself. I mean, I'm not going to slap myself. I would do literal damage, and my life would just be worse. Be like, how'd you get that black eye? Being funny on video. All right. You know what it is I think the control doesn't need to be there. And it's over. And I get an 11. I get an 11, but that's like not good. I mean, it might be good for you because, you know, you're weak. But me, I can't be doing this, alright? Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, gotta summon that chi, alright? Gotta summon the chi. Alright, getting back to work. And this is why I didn't want to jump over an Inflow, by the way. This is why I didn't want to jump over an Inflow. It's because I'm a madman. On your mark. Get set. Sub 10 seconds. Alright. So with that, I can move on with my life. Alright, sorry. I had a moment. You know, that's why the challenge meshes actually mean something to me. I hope users don't think I'm just like trying to waste your time. They're to set the stage because the official meshes will get perfected over time. Like users will submit meshes and they'll be like, yo, this is a better level 3 than your level 3. And that will be the new level 3. Maybe. I mean, I'm not just going to accept any level 3, but as I do more content, level 3 and like all the meshes are going to get nuts. Like the curve is just going to change and it's just going to be insta hard mode, or there's going to be a hard mode tier that you'll be able to opt into where you can actually begin doing the more challenging things to push yourself to move to the next level. Like, I mean, I want this to put people up on the next level. I know, it's crazy. These are lofty ambitions. So we are going to copy our preset and we're just going to load the next file, and that's corner box, because I should show you more features, right? I should show you why you should buy the tool. So we're just going to take this vert and select this vert all the way to the other side, just selecting one and then holding control and clicking the other side. And if we click on this, this will do project loop. And if we press F, it will fan it out. And so for us solving this area, hypothetically, it's us taking project loop, pressing F to fan it out. And this is just to demonstrate just a way that you could handle solving this particular scenario. Like, that's all it is. Like, project loop needed a case that put it over. This is that case. So it also is a chance for you to get familiar with analyze, which is the final button. We click it. This is where you're screwing up, basically. Like, you thought you were doing good. You thought you solved everything. You solved nothing, son, not playing. But there is more work to be done. So for this, let's just look at it from the side. And, you know, for this particular mesh, really, this is where I would introduce you to project line, where we click it and we're able to click and draw a line. And if we hold control, it'll snap and hang. And if we hold alt, you see it gets stick. That means it's going to cut through the mesh. So now this stick and straight it'll cut through. And, you know, no innuendo intended, just mesh tools being mesh tools. You know, I think Blender tools in general just turns people into chads. All right, so we are going to just click on project line, and from here we are going to just create another line. And if we press Alt, we see that it varies between the version that is not thick, and as a result we have our line. And from here we are going to just do it again, and you know, all I'm pressing is I'm holding control to snap it, and I'm clicking it, and I'm thinking about how we should remember how you ran it last time, even down to the angle snap. So every time you do it, it actually is more good feeling on the body. So just this very demo has shown me that the euphoria aspect needs to be focused on the skill tree a little bit more, because there's more euphoria that can be added to the tool. I'll be sending that up the tree immediately. So my mistake, I moved too fast. So we are just messing around with InSuite, but we are still in Insolve. And you know that we're in Insolve because all of this is at the top. We have join, we have slide, we have collapse, and we have dissolve. And these are my weapons of mass destruction. I was going to have default profiles in this thing, but I figured out that the defaults that I gave it were so OP. I was like, what would I tell users to change it to? I don't even know. I have to add more tools in order to make the persona system work. So it's fine. It's fine for now, but we do have to do more with the persona system. But to do that, we have to Tetris blocks, guys. All right. Hey, and those Tetris blocks will be falling. You'll be clicking them, and they'll be choosing them. But that's where people start quitting. They're like, yo, you have problems. All right. So back to work. What I want to do is slide the vert. We'll slide this vert. And if we go under slide, we see that there's a mode option where we can choose context, and that's what we're in right now. So if we're in vert mode, we slide for vert. If we're in edge mode, we slide for edge. We also see that Alt dissolves. So what that means is that if I hold Alt and I click, we dissolve it. That's it. That's all it does. It's just a little dissolver. So we get to the side. Side's like a little wreck, right? So we just slide this down. We control, click, and drag to perform what I call a gravitational collapse. You know, just like merge over in select tool. And because we have Verti-Merge on, when we slide this over, it's just solved. So we're just moving through this mesh pretty fast. Like, I mean, really it's nothing to just have to deal with the little mesh issue. Like, the fact of the matter is, you know, things happen. Things happen to a mesh, and we got to solve it. You know, we can't just, I mean, we can, but we cannot. In this day and age, we got to do better. So, you know, I'm going to add a loop cut, and we could add it with Control R. It's the same thing, or we can click this one. And I didn't even talk about hard loop yet, but we'll just move that for the next example. I'm just looking at the video time and thinking, man, I ruined the quick angle. I'm going to have to make another video. So let us just press E, and we're just making it even, which is one of my favorite things. Just if you're not familiar with it, just look at the bottom. There's a whole bunch of hotkeys for E and C and F, and it's just part of Blender. And as a result, I want our tools to also pay respect to this. Like, it would be an insult to have a loop cut that wasn't able to do the same things that Blender does. Like, that's the most like confusing stuff to deal with. I mean, it shouldn't be, but it is when you're dealing with it from scratch. You know, you're like, oh, and that goes back over to Inflow, talking about its custom loop cut, but you know, that's another discussion. So we are going to just select these faces and press I. And for this one, you know, we could hit it with the wham bam, which we could also set up in Inflow to hit it the same way. And you know, all I'm saying with the wham bam is this is a big old Ngon, but because of the circular serendipity of both of these being the same resolution, future versions should not have the same resolution. They should be, what's the right word? Screwed. They should be screwed on the user, so that way it's punishing, and that way the examples inspire more confidence. So we'll press Control T, Alt J, just have a honeymoon with these. And you know, when we have this, look, this is just begging for a grid fill. Like, anytime I see an opportunity to use grid fill, I have to. So let's press N, go back over to Inflow, and Inflow has a configuration called, let's see, we're going for model UV. And one of these is all about basically grid fill. It's probably not in this one, so we'll just shift click to clear all of those, and we'll load a different set, which is singular cases. You actually have a singular case. Export OBJ, FBX, and ABC, that's because of you, the person that this video is dedicated to. it's because of you that this config exists. Like, it's in the tool. You're like, what am I going to use the tool for? I don't know. Just a whole config for you. But we're jumping over to grid fill. Sorry, I'm not talking at you. We're just having fun here. I'm just being cajoling. All right. So we see that there's only one function, grid fill. I come to town, all I want to do is grid fill. And grid fill is just so beautiful in Blender. I will never get tired of grid filling. Like, it's insane. Like, if I was in my hospital deathbed, I'm going to want to grid fill. Like, I'm going to want to just, bam, grid fill. And we could even mess with the way that it works, so that way when it comes up, it's actually perfect. Like, I just didn't alter it in the F9 and then bake that into the settings. You know, as we were talking about with the operator settings, there's sometimes you want to bake some settings in to make them work out. So we could make grid fill work all the time, but grid fill is going to be talked about in depth in a crazy way in the future if I get around to it. I just am reacquainting with the community still. So let us jump over, and we're just going to do a couple of solves, and this is what we're looking at so far. So if we were to press Control R, we're just kind of seeing what we're getting here, and I'm just thinking, do I want a loop cut in the middle that goes around the edge to protect the perimeter, or is that good enough? I mean, really, this is an example, so we just need to move on. So we see all of these in the back, and normally the way that you would solve it back in the day would be K, A, right click, and this is not the worst way. This is a way to do things. There's also other ways to do things that we wanted to explore, because, you know, this isn't straight, and I'm working at an angle, and also I'm giving knife a bum rap. Look, knife is GOAT, and I bow to the shrine of the knife. Daddy knife, never get it twisted. All right, so here we are just going to pull this down, and getting it twisted is a play on someone else that I used to know. It's just funny. I'm just using their catchphrase now. I know it's unnatural probably to hear me say it, but that's why it's funny. So here we're just solving just through, and it's only because of serendipity, which is, I just say that whenever things work out. Whenever you have a shape that just works out, that's easy. It's easy to make it work out. And, you know, I just call it out because, you know, I try to not do that because it's like hacky. And, you know, I am a hack, but I'm not that kind of hack. Like, I'm a different kind of hack. I'm like, it's like the magicians on the Prestige. So we're just going to solve this like this. I mean, this is the most logical path I see in front of me. And we'll just dissolve that one, bring it in, and let's do it on this side. And of course, I'm listening to AI drivel over on the side. I will never stop, you know. Unless these guys get caught at a show doing inappropriate things to minors, then it's another story. It just breaks my heart. It just broke my heart. It's like, come on, you were bopping so hard in the car, now I can't bop you anymore, man. Anyways, back on topic. I just meander. I'm sorry, guys. So if we just give this a few levels of subdivision and turn off overlays, you could say, look, Ma, this cube is fine, but really this cube isn't fine. We get in here and it's like bloopy. So we need to probably put a couple of loops in here, really get this thing to hold together better. You know, we're amateur hours over. We gotta get in here and make this look professional. And that is basically us protecting the outer perimeter of the circle. And now if we go out, it's looking a little bit better. And because of the topology, we can also get in here, grab this area, GGE, you know, just like we were talking about today. You know, if you take a lesson away, maybe it's GGE, I don't know. It's kind of written on the screen, so these aren't lessons. But we look at this, and, you know, we put the auto smooth at the end. Like I said, amateur hours over. And, you know, we got this shape. So we're just running through these. And this is like how people are supposed to get acquainted with the tool. We're going to skip ladder, because ladder is part of a joke that I didn't get to finish. And we'll come back to it. So the next one is angle cylinder. And this one's just a cylinder cut into a cylinder at an angle. It's like, yo, dog, I heard you like cylinders. So this one's fun to do because it allows me to jump in and start talking about hard loop. Hard loop is like the biggest hit. Everybody loves it. I mean, at least as far as the users are concerned, they're like, wait, it's a loop cut that just cuts through everything? It's like, yeah. I mean, it's real basic because that's what it is. But users are big fans of it, and as a result, that is pleasing to hear, because I was worried that users wouldn't like things. And, I get other comments where people are not liking things, but, basically I'm using it here to just hard quarantine the shape. Just really set. And we added merge capability. So if we bring up the F9, we can actually get in and mess with the merge. I don't think we need to, but it's already getting in here and helping us out. And from here, we can actually begin to solve this cylinder. And I've solved this thing a million times, and you're going to watch me solve it in an inadequate way for the 1 millionth and one. 1 millionth and one. Sorry, I bit my tongue there. All right, so from here, we're just going to perform a connection and drop a loop. And it doesn't matter whose loop cuts you do. Usually depending on what time of the day it is, I want to use Control R, and sometimes I don't want to press Control R anymore. That's really what it comes down to. They joke now about me saying that I made this whole tool because I hate loop cut. And I'm like, I'm not going to argue it. I mean, I love loop cut. I love GG too. So I don't use knife a lot, but knife is beautiful. Not completely beautiful. It's like a work in progress. But we do see that, it's able to handle some of these basic connection things. And because we have it set up the way that we do, we can just get in here and just perform a quick little dissolve. We'll make sure that dissolves. We'll press Alt-X and just, mirror our work just to be hacks. Because why? We only live once. So we'll add another loop cut. And from here, we're just going to get rid of these loops and make this connection here. And the difference between knife and join is just a difference in linearity and fluidity, it feels like when it's being used. So I can tell immediately. I'm like, this is not so-and-so, or this is so-and-so, like you can't trick me. But I do care about it. So let's say we wanted to go from this point, but we actually did not want to go to another point, because jumping here seems like it would be a good idea, but that's too far. So what we want to do is press D, and we can actually enable jumping to edge. And this means that, instead of jumping to vert, we can now jump to edge, so we can kind of just leapfrog around. We're just trying to kind of create a secondary universe happening here. I mean, even this hard loop decision wasn't even the smartest choice. So, we were just doing that for the purposes of demonstration, but now we see that, such a bad choice has caught up to me. So from here, we want to go ahead and jump back over to knife and just perform a few cuts. And we're just having some fun here. I know the video's like way overkill, meaning I'll have to remove it, or at least from general rotation. I'm trying to keep only the best stuff in rotation, but we're just having fun right now. Just a little fun. Just getting started. All right. Getting started, as we discuss what is baked into the cake. That is Insolve, because this is a simple cake. It's a simple cake. Hopefully. I'm hoping it's a simple cake. That was the plan. It's like, listen, this will be easy. This will be easy. I've already tried all the complex plans. Let's try one more complex plan. I'm kidding, of course. I do love complex plans. That's my thing. And like I said, they call me Jerry Naga. They do not. But if I was in Shogun Japan, they would. And they wouldn't. They would have hung me. Wrong skin color. It would be like Yellow Man. Wrong color Yellow Man. So from here, we are just thinking about how we want to make this go across. And, using join works. It works. Like, I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Like, that worked. I mean, not my favorite adventure, but hey, that works. And we could always just use a redirect there, and we're just having a little fun with this cylinder. But I'm just showing a little bit of how I would get in and solve this using these particular tools. So I would press I, delete that, and we still have the ability to load up our singular cases, and we just want to use the secondary one of grid fill. Eventually, see as I do that we're going to need to add the option to load up specific cases out of a file, which I almost wanted to do that before release, but I'm telling you, I was killing people with my requests, and I'm afraid to even talk about them because it'll show like how much I truly believe in this thing, and I'm going for it. Like, it's easier to be thought that, hey, I'm just a crazy guy. That's easier. So let us grab these two. It'd be worse if people were like, hey, this guy's serious. But maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. In fact, eventually, I won't even have to talk about it as a product anymore. It will just be. It will just be. It will just be, and that'll be it. And I mean, just like B, this shape is solved. How could that solve it? We turn on in-gun display, and there ain't nothing to show. And Analyze needs to basically close and get the heck out of here when things are good. When the going's good, and the thing about this shape is it also has a mesh problem. The goal is to give users mesh problems to solve while they're dealing with this, to make sure that the tools are good. Because I'm telling you, flip normals, you wouldn't believe it. Like, we have tools that still have issues with flip normals, and to me, I think that that's bad only because Blender has a not good way of telling people that the normals are flipped, and in my opinion, I mean, of course, someone in the comments saying, hey, you can turn on this view and set this opacity to this, and it'll work. And yeah, that's the truth. It will, but by default, it ain't there. And I mean, I'm not saying that the defaults have to be absolutely perfect, but I'm pretty obsessed with defaults. Put that on my Insolve tombstone. Also, I hate it when the transform orientations aren't set to normal. I complain about that every time, I think, when I open this file. I think that's part of the test to punish me, is not being able to press GY and GX and just have it be a certain way. So this isn't my most marvelous solution. I'm not showing this like, yo, this is my demo reel, hire me. But ever since I started this Insolve adventure, I am getting the job emails, guys. So, you know, that's like the success story of it all, is that opportunity's still out there. Get to work. Get out there, start doing, man, you start doing some topology. I guess people are going to start thinking you're a little competent on some topology. I mean, I don't think it's the best topology, but we are making it. So we're on angle slide. And after this one, we can wrap it because the rest of it gets more and more progressive. And the goal is to make it where I can do a full 1 hour demo and solve all the meshes. That's the goal of the tool. Like, I mean, right now the tool can't do that, and y'all should laugh about it. Y'all should laugh at it and laugh at me. Y'all should be like, ha ha, your tool can't solve it within an hour. But one day, when the tools are solving it within 15 minutes, you're gonna be like, oh snap, this man's tripping. And it's not like we have to figure it out. The means are already available. We just ran out of time. So I'm going to apply these modifiers, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because I don't want auto smooth and weighted normal to be baked in. And, you know, let's just bring up Insolve, just start solving a few things, just cleaning up this mesh a little bit. That's kind of icky, but whatever. You know, these things drive me crazy every time I mess with it. So that's why we're cleaning it up in advance. Like, I know this mesh. So what we just eliminated are what I call problems that are going to hurt other operations later, but they're not going to do it today because, you know, you're dealing with the flash from the future. Like, yo, Darkseid's about to come punch y'all boys out. Don't stand near the boom tube. All right, because if Darkseid comes out, he will punch. He will punch hard. So, you know, whenever I show this to people, they're like, ah, yes, so you're like Mesh Machine. And I'm like, look, don't insult Mesh Machine like that, all right? And we are not trying to be like Mesh Machine. We're just trying to solve some problems, and I mean, Mesh Machine just happens to have solved everything first, like the Simpsons, in some sort of way. So I mean, if you're using his tools, use his tools. Like, we're not trying to say we're going to replace him or anything like that. We're just trying to make some solutions. You know, there's a lot of solutions still to attempt, but you know, some solutions have bases that are very similar, and I've just come to accept it. And when I say accept it, I mean I've sat by the lake and just thought about like everything, like just like what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this? Like, is this person this? You know, just thinking about things. You know, just had to come to terms. I'm all old now. I'm all old, and I've come to terms. And by coming to terms, I mean I don't even have a fight in me no more. I'm like, I can fight polygons. I can fight polygons. That's what I have the will to fight. I have the will to fight some polygons. So we're just getting in here and just doing a little bit of cleanup. And you know, while I meander, people's favorite thing for me to do on the sales page, by the way, they love it. just playing. But I do get a lot of comments where people are like, yo, I love this dialogue. So y'all are reinforcing very bad habits, and y'all should stop. Like, I'm just trying to make 3D slightly more interesting. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not even trying to make a statement. Like, I thought people literally didn't even care about AI anymore. I thought everybody was over it when Feng Zhu was saying that he was talking about how humans still got it. I was like, hell yeah, bro. Humans do still got it. That video inspired me. Like, I should watch it with you guys. Just, like, do some secondary commentary, like, Retsupre. I'd be like, listen to this right here. Listen to this, man. Look, what I'm looking at here is how some of this geometry just shouldn't live. That's what I'm thinking about. I mean, it's terrible that I'm choosing what I'm having to choose. But, you know, I just don't like what I'm seeing there. And also, I've solved this thing so many times that I'm just thinking about other ways it can be solved. And one day, there will be a new tool that will handle the majority of solving. I'm telling you, I see it in my head. And I was like, as I think about it more and more, I'm like, I didn't think of that at all before. I didn't think of that before. That there could be a Uber solver, the like God solve, the solver of the Lord. I know I sound crazy right now, but I've just been thinking about it. And that's what it all starts with. It all starts with a thought. It haunts me, and then I haunt other people with it, and then it's a thing. And we move on to the next thing, you know, and the next thing also is of great importance. Like, there's a lot of things that we got to have in order to, you know, the goal is to make it fun. And I know I said that with hard ops, but this time we're going to try a different type of fun, like a more ranked type fun, like something that's a little more immortal. Like, I saw that Excel spreadsheet championship. I was like, what are they doing? Processing values. Hey, these boys are tripping. Is modeling so unimportant? So, I mean, it goes in with the whole 3D modeling possibly getting murdered, you know, which is news I see every day. Every clickbaiter is like, 3D modeling is dead. Hang up your hats, you know. So it's not like my take is special. I'm not like trying to be a visionary here. I'm just saying that's what the news is saying. Also, we have 3 loops here. I am tripping. I don't know why that was the case, but we are just going to undo that. So right now we are just jumping around in selection using Blender selection. I didn't even talk about how we have our own selection system, and that's because I will have to really articulate the way that I want to introduce it to the world, because the world ain't ready for it yet, but they are ready for it because it's in the tool and they probably hate it. It doesn't make sense right now, but I'll just need to, it's all about visualization, and I just get so much resistance on it, and I never thought I would, you know, because I'm trying to really get visual. Like, that was the plan. The plan was like, oh, if we get visual as hell, if we get Sesame Street level visual, oh my god, people are gonna love it. They're like, the best I can do is Blender default text. Blender default text? Look, what are y'all doing to me, man? You know, you wonder why I sound like I'm going to go to an asylum. What do you mean, Blender default text? You can't wow people with... That is not very video gamey. What video game is that? Hey, what video game is that? What video game uses Blender default text? Circa 1936. Like... same text used by Barnum and Bailey. Alright, and I'm not hating, you know. Blender has this text, it needs this text, and got some text, you know. It's no frills text. No one's gonna throw a flaming Suzanne through Tan's door over his choice of text. I mean, I don't know. Hey, if it is, do not blame me. Just because I'm the last person in a video to rant about the default text, like, yeah, I'm not throwing flaming Suzannes. Alright? First of all, I mean, what would you print that out of? I guess you'd print a Suzanne out of rubber. Look, here we are constructing crimes against Blender. In a Blender tutorial. Alright, look, I'll stop. I'm just having fun here. Also, that's how I'll get a flaming Suzanne through mine. Someone will throw it through mine. They'll be like, stop talking about Ton in videos. But we're really having fun. This is like late night level dialogue, so I got to keep it down. Those are the videos that I put up at night, and then we'll probably end up using for the patrons, so they have exclusive content, because I got to really work on their exclusive content more. I see that, well, if I'm gonna hit it hard, I got to hit it hard on every angle. And the patrons, they've been holding it down so long that they should hate me. They should hate me and be asking for refunds. So I got to give them that content. Like, you're wondering where all these models are going. If besides those marketplaces that are going on, the patrons, they deserve every asset. They deserve to cuddle every worthless jug. I mean, they're worthless to me. I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic here, guys. But they're jugs, and also these patrons, what do they need a jug for? I think I'm being followed by the guy who made I'm being followed by 1D. Now look, that guy don't need a jug from me. Hey, if anything, any word he says to me is brilliant advice, to be held in high regard always. I'm talking about Lord 1D. I've seen him do some things to topology that, I mean, it inspires me even now. It's like, wait, topology's going away? No. First of all, I need to become 1D. All right. That's why we got to get the stellar gun out of the way. But we're just having fun here right now. And I have like a whole to-do list of assets that I want to get through. And then we'll start getting onto models probably related to the most cringe lord play ever. But it'll be a whole special tier culminating into a boss character. Except I'm thinking like, why have people clean up a character? Especially if the version I give them is like the most HD expensive version of a statue ever. Like, people are going to get it and be like, yo, I'm 3D printing this guy. Why'd you have this made? It's like, because he's from the add-on verse and he must exist. But that is me. So, I mean, there's so much I have planned for this tool. Hopefully I didn't stutter there. But yeah, I have so much planned for it, and not all of it is even code. Like, code is just, I need the code to be right. And also, it's got to be right. It's got to be right, or else the plan doesn't work out. So, I know, these are like, this is like the weirdest sales pitch ever. Like, I give up. But look, here's the thing. I'm not going to let affiliates handle it anymore. I'll handle it myself. I had an affiliate write me recently, and I was about to send them a slightly more disappointing letter, but they basically was like, yo, the shrine dog. It's like, oh, you tend the shrine, do you? Well, in that case, you are right away, sir. What can I do for you? You gotta use the right dialogue. If you're tending the shrines, but I am here daily. I am going to tend these shrines, and I ain't gonna stop, because I see that it's getting wayward, and that there is an opportunity for it to continue to evolve. And so my work must go on. Also, there is the option of giving up, which I also love. Like, I'm telling you, I love giving up. It just feels so good. Like, when you just flop in your bed. Oh my god. Look, I'm not trying to talk y'all into leaving this video to go to bed, but look, if I get frustrated enough, sometimes I get such a headache that I have to just lay down. And it just, But because I'm all old now, I'm like, wait, I went and laid down orgasmically, and I'm alive again. I'm alive. Almost died. We waking up from dreams of dying. Like, oh man, I gotta get to work. So, dreams be scary. I mean, hopefully no one over there is getting addicted to sleep, but I mean, I do a lot of imagining now. So and you see that we're just kind of just cleaning things up and just setting up a perimeter. So just getting down, and this part is also kind of difficult or maybe it's not difficult. Maybe I'm difficult. You know, who knows? Maybe it'll turn out that I am a crap modeler and that all of these assets are basic and easy to solve. But I did send them through the auto mesher that we made, and then I also sent them through quad remesher just to make sure that they weren't like that easy. And I mean, luckily quad remesher can't really clean much of anything that's created by us for some reason. Like, it's fine, but it does fail in so many cases that sometimes I'm like, actually, I would rather my topo look like I was not on LSD, meaning I'll do it myself, not I'll do it on LSD. Alright, and that looks good. That doesn't look good. Just kidding. That looks better though. That'll work. So over here, we will just correct this area and clean it up. And as I look at this, I'm just like, wow, solutions galore. Like to reuse, basically. If there's like a hypothetical engine, there would definitely be some things to scroll through on this. So I'm just gonna press Control Shift B just to have a little fun. And so maybe something like that. And I'm just thinking, always drinking. Hey, think, take a drink if you ever seen Mr. Show. Think, take a drink, just like that. I mean, but I'm becoming better at topology as I've gone through. What the fuck? So someone told me to download this thing called Crystal Disk Info, and this thing literally started speaking to me with a waifu voice and was talking to me about my hard drive being hot. So I guess I'll have to wrap it and get out of here for reals. So let me clean this mesh up. I've been tracking some computer problems, and I did order a new hard drive because someone was saying that all the Samsung hard drives ever are like pieces of trash. So I mean, I do remember that news story. I'm not like saying I'm that far out of the loop, but I had a pretty big one in my computer, so I was like, wait, I'm not going to pull my Samsung out, but if my computer's like making me cry, then maybe I should pull the Samsung out and just replace it with something that isn't like recalled or disavowed by its own company or the U.S. military or I'm joking, of course. Who knows if these things actually happen. The disavowalment part, it probably does deserve a disavowalment, though. Like, I bet it's disavowed by its own government. And we're just 1, 2, and let's see what we're dealing with here. So 1, 2, and of course we can put a loop in between 2 tries, and just like that we solve the angle lock. And if we convert it over to subdivision, despite me meandering, my apologies, it is a slightly better solution than I think on my previous attempts, but this is just a fun little part. I'm gonna have to start using these in a kit bash. So I'm gonna save this and I'll end the video for now. Sorry for talking so much. Good luck with Insolve. Don't try to beat me. All right. I will be back.